So we've all heard that language is a useful tool for communication, but could it be more than that? Could there be some other aspect to language that makes it so crucial in our lives? So to answer that, let me tell you a story. A while ago, I was given a presentation to make for school. It was about the methods of protection from the all too familiar COVID-19, and it was quite easy. I was completely prepared for it. But nonetheless, I failed. It was quite bad. I stuttered, forgot what I was supposed to say, and generally screwed the whole thing up. And this continued with every single presentation I did. A while later, I was given the same topic to present about in English though, and I thought to myself, oh, not again, but prepared nonetheless because I had to. And to my surprise, it went really well. I was astonished by how much easier it was to present in English. Though it did weird me out, I didn't really give it much thought until I stumbled upon a certain article about the theory of linguistic relativity. So I understood that this wasn't a weird little quirk of mine, but rather a long-known phenomenon. So hard to be a special snowflake these days. But anyway, I started thinking, does that mean that language can influence a person's opinions? So to make the answer a little bit clearer, let's look into the hypothesis. So the hypothesis of linguistic relativity is a principle claiming that the structure of a language affects its speaker's worldview or cognition, and as a result can partly determine their opinions and thoughts. So there are two versions of this hypothesis: linguistic determinism and linguistic influence. So let's start with the stronger of the two, determinism. This one states that the structure of a language completely controls the speaker's worldview, and as a result also completely controls their opinions. So this would make a few issues though, because that would mean that a person is basically stuck in their own cultural and linguistic bubble, being unable to escape, or in other words, understand any other language or culture. But as we know, we can understand other languages, we can learn them even, and we can also understand other cultures. So this one has been proven to be false. Linguistic influence, though, the true one, states that a language simply only partly affects the speaker's personality simply through either the absence or presence of certain linguistical terms and elements. So there are two factors at play here, the linguistic and the cultural. So let's talk about the linguistics of it first. So as I said, the hypothesis states that a language only partly restricts a speaker's thinking through either the absence or presence of grammatical and lexical elements. So to illustrate this, these two colors are called blakitny and sini, while in English both are simply labeled as blue. This example, though, is quite insignificant. A much more extreme one, I would have to say, is the absence of the word never or any future tenses in Japanese. Although the concepts do exist, they are said in a drastically different way from any Western languages, and as a result, they're thought of in a completely different way. So now, let's talk about the cultural aspect. This one is where the language influences a person in a way that makes them behave in accordance with the culture of the country the language is from. So once again, to illustrate this, let me tell you another story. So one rainy day, I stated that I liked the rain in English, but previously I'd said the opposite in Ukrainian. So one rainy day, I stated that I liked the rain in English, but I had previously stated the opposite in Ukrainian. This was quite a breakthrough because this bears a direct correlation with a certain cultural aspect of the British. And I'm sure you've all heard of it. It's talking about the weather. So this crucial way of communicating has one very important rule to it, and that is not being able to outright disagree. And this brings me back to the aforementioned situation where I was prompted by a statement about liking the rain to say the same, while in Ukrainian it's much more acceptable to disagree, so I stated a completely different opinion. This brings me to the conclusion that language not only lets us voice our thoughts, but also takes part in forming them, and can even determine the answer to a yes or no question. So, in the end, language can be something more than just a tool for communication. In many ways, it can help you see yourself from many different perspectives, and can even help you improve yourself in previously undiscovered ways. And as a result, this is a very exciting discovery. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day.